Hey everybody, welcome to another Dragon's End challenge video. This time we're doing Dragon's End with all Rangers. Yeah, I've been sitting on this footage for a while, so I'm glad I can finally release it. You know, playing with all Untamed was really bad, but all Ranger, pretty good. Soul Beast in particular is actually really powerful when it comes to DPS, and there's a few low intensity builds that are really good. I've heard that shortbow Condi Ranger is pretty simple to play. You just kind of swap between short bows and your sigils will deal some Condis, and you press a few buttons on short bow and boom, lots of Condi damage. But Power Soul Beast is actually very powerful because it has stance share. So what we tried to do with this setup is have at least one Ranger in each subgroup with stance share so that we could be pumping out as much damage as possible. You'll also notice I tried to put a druid in each subgroup, and this was to give us might as well as other boons. So you can see here, I think I'm playing druid. Yeah, I am. I'm playing druid because I figured, well, we need the spirits. So I think it was every other druid had spirits as well, because spirits for some reason still affect 10 people, which by the way is going to change. On June 28th it'll be changed, so I don't know when this video will go out, but it might have already happened. But anyway, it's going to be different. So we wanted to get as many buffs as possible. For those that don't understand or maybe don't know, the spirits all have various buffs. Some of them give boons, and one of them in particular, I think it's Frost Spirit, actually gives a 5% bonus to strike damage, just flat out. And so it's a unique buff in that no other class can do that. You know, like classes can all give might or whatever, but this is just a 5% flat bonus. So obviously that's pretty good, especially if it affects 10 people. So we had a lot of people running that. Another thing you probably just saw me try to do, though I kind of failed, is we wanted stability. Now, how do you give people stability with Rangers? Well, I think one of the best ways is you play a druid, you go into your CA and you press 5, and that should give 5 people, including yourself, I suppose, stability. And now it's only a short amount of time, but hey, even a little bit helps in these phases because you get constantly knocked down by the Thorn Hearts and everything. The other thing that gives stability is actually the Elite Spirit. Not only does it res, but it also gives stability to 5 people. So those are a couple ways we tried to mitigate the problems associated with all of the ads. And as I've mentioned before in other videos, it's pretty annoying to deal with the ads if you don't have pulls and stuff. This is why Necromancer and Mesmer were so good. On Ranger, we didn't honestly have a ton of things that could pull. You know, I suppose I could have ran Glyph in lieu of one of the spirits, and I could have used it. I think it's while you're in CA you pull things to you, so I suppose that would have been a possibility. But I think we opted not to go with that because its range was so low that it would be kind of negligible. Besides, we had so many Soul Beasts that if you're using Axe, you can use Axe 4 to pull things in. So we figured that would be just enough. By the way, I should probably mention, you may or may not hear some other people talking during this video. This is because I've been experimenting with audio settings. And you know what? I'm still learning. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I suppose another thing that's sort of interesting about just Ranger in general is it has what is called Spotter. Spotter is a trait. I think, is it in... Oh shoot, what trait line is it in? Put down in the comments below, what trait line is Spotter in? Because now I'm blanking. I want to say that it's like marksmanship, but I don't think that's right. No, it's definitely not right. It's not marksmanship. It's the thing that you replace with marksmanship when you're doing Soulless Horde. Anyway, I digress. That gives increased precision to your subgroup. So the other thing we wanted to do is make sure that we had at least one person in each subgroup that had Spotter. Now, that's really just part of the standard build for Power Soul Beast, so that wasn't really too much of an issue. But as much damage as we could eke out as possible was the goal. You know, I think it's pretty important when you're playing group events like this that you at least make an attempt to, I don't know, just do your best, right? You certainly don't have to be the best player in the world, the most mechanically sound, know everything perfectly. Like, I'm talking about some of these things with Ranger, and you might have never played Ranger before, so you just don't know this, and that's totally fine. But when you're doing a group event, as long as you're doing your best, participating, listening to whoever's leading, and sort of trying to follow things, I think that's just fine. So my only issue has always been when you go to Dragon's End and there are people that actually sort of like wait on the ship that's circling the platform. They just wait until like it's almost over, hit the boss a few times, and get the loot. I think that's kind of a poor way to play any team game, no? But I think that's happening less and less because people find content like Dragon's End fairly engaging. And I would argue that the average skill level of players has dramatically increased since things like normal mode strikes and this difficult meta event. It's weird because so many people really want it to be nerfed and really want it to be sort of 100% win rate. But I think the fact that you can fail really encourages players to work as a team, to come together, to figure out ways to solve the problems. Now, are there always going to be roadblocks for people? Is it going to be difficult for some people more than others? Is it going to take more effort? Of course, but this is why we have communities. This is why we come together and we try to make things easier. We strategize, we come up with builds that are easier to play. We find ways to sort of cheese the mechanics and get through them a little bit faster, you know? I am always excited by the ways that community can come together and make something happen. So we'll see what happens. I've always been curious about if they'll actually, make another event like Dragon's End. Anyways, what else can I say about Ranger? One of my... You'll notice that I actually brought the trap. I brought the trap because I figured that other people would bring Water Spirit, which I think if you look at my bar, Water Spirit is on there every now and again. If we doubled up on Water Spirit, it would have been sort of a waste. So I brought the trap for like that little extra healing, just eking out that little bit more. You can see right there, I used my Spirit to try to res the two people nearby, but people were so on the ball in this group that the Spirit was almost unnecessary. It was really only used for stability at some point. It's very odd. So here you can see the tail is up, I believe, but we've done so much damage that like, why would we go for the tail? I think we just wait. No, do we go for the tail?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just stay.
Yeah, we're with the FCC.
Yeah. Oh no, we do go for the tail. Oh no, it's the CC. It's kind of weird because the CC and the tail happen at the same time, so it's like not even worth it to go after the tail anymore. You may as well just do the CC, do your bonus damage because of the exposed debuff that happens after you break that bar. And you're just kind of good to go. Very odd because when the thing first came out, everyone used to go for the tail. Like a really big deal, I guess. But yeah, we're in a bit of a different position now, shall we say. A bit of a different position. I'm really looking forward to, there's all these new strikes coming out and things. As of the creation of this video, they have not released the season 1 finale, so that would be June 28th, where they're doing all the balance, and where they're doing the little, what is it even called? The new Battle of Lions Arch strike mission. I'm very curious to see how they incorporate that, because what that means, at least for me, is that they could theoretically go back and add a lot of strike missions with older content. And if it's not too time consuming to do that, and they're able to, reuse a lot of resources, that'd be really good for the endgame scene because we get more and more strike missions. I think that's really exciting, that's really, really exciting. One thing that I always struggle with on Druid, back in the day, Druid used to be really good in PvP because you had an evade frame on Staff 3, the skill that, makes you a little bit more mobile. Because you had that evade frame, it made you super bunkery. Like, Druid was like near unkillable at times. It was really, really busted. But for some reason, it's been years, but for some reason, my mind still thinks that there's an evade frame. And I will quite consistently, actually, accidentally go and I'll staff 3, like through orange circles and stuff, and I'll just die. And yeah. I would advise you to not be like me and actually use Staff 3 correctly. The cool thing about Staff 3, though, is that it's actually a blast finisher, I believe. So if you put down something like Staff 5, which is this little, like a projectile shield, it converts projectiles into healing for your group. You can put that down, and then you can actually press Staff 3 to do an area heal. Then, and this also works with any water field, by the way. So, you can also use other blast finishers. So, Warhorn 5 is also a blast finisher. So you can put down Staff 5, use Staff 3, big water heal. You can switch to Warhorn, use Warhorn 5. Then you can go into CA your CA, your celestial avatar, and you can press 3, and that's 3 blast finishers on staff 5, giving a whole big burst of healing. So a lot of people don't utilize blast finishers to their full extent. I know I'm really guilty of that because there's just so many different combos and little intricacies to the combat in this game. But if you want to get like really good at something like Druid, understanding how to utilize blast finishers to get those extra few boons or those extra heals, those extra Condi cleanses, that's what's going to make you even more valuable in a team setting. And again, this is something I'm still trying to figure out. It's certainly not easy. Certainly not easy. Look, once again, we have the tail dilemma. Do we go break the tail? I think this time we do. We opted to do it. We broke the bar and then we went and killed the tail. We did this because our damage wasn't super high. Yeah, definitely. This was certainly harder than some of the other runs where we were able to pull the ads, because I really believe that it's the ads in the middle that actually make this fight hard towards the end, because people just keep getting knocked around. If you could consistently have stability, like if you had a firebrand in every subgroup and they were just pumping out the stability, then I actually don't think this would be too bad at all. But otherwise, it's a lot of work. And for some reason, Suwan still has that weird thing where she just moves back and forth a lot. A lot. You think they'll ever do anything about that? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Yeah, look, you can see there's healing bolts going down too. If you use whirl finishers while you're on water fields, you'll actually do a whole bunch of extra healing, which is kind of nice. Definitely utilize those fields. Put a comment down below. Did you know about the fields? For the longest time, I had like no idea how to utilize the fields properly. And then when I tried to get a little bit better at PvP, utilizing fields in PvP is pretty important. Like, you know, to gain stealth or to get a little bit extra advantage in the fight, to cleanse whatever it is, right? It's actually a pretty big deal. It's pretty important.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, I guess we'll find out. You know, what's on the horizon for Guild Wars 2. I've been thinking a lot about what's the next step. Because strike missions, to me, they don't quite fill the void of raids. They are very well designed. Like, I think Cameron did such a good job. Cameron's the designer for all these endgame things. Cameron did such a good job with the encounter design for the last few strike missions. But for some reason, I just don't find them as replayable as raids. I don't even have a really good reason. I wonder if it has to do with the progression, right? Somebody had suggested that to me. I wonder if it has to do with, you know, how you progress through the fight. Because in raids, you go boss, and then there's like a little bit of story and stuff. And you get another boss, and then you can like stop there, and you can come back and sort of continue the story in the raid. But it's a little bit weird because in strikes, you just go in and kill the boss, and that's it. It's only encounter. Maybe the story and the sort of those in-between events and the progression of raids have a lot more value than we had considered. I think I had never really thought about the impact of that and what it really meant, but it seems like it's, you know, pretty important, actually. Pretty important. Now, I'm getting excited here because I am actually coming up on a new job as well, so I'll probably be starting a new job. Won't get to play the game as much, and you know, that's okay. We move on with life, we do new things, and that's exciting. So I have to go through and probably edit, you know, these I'm gonna have to learn how to do audio with these videos so bad. Oh my gosh. Anyway, people, I'm gonna let you watch the rest of this video with the music and the excitement, and we're gonna kill these things. Remember, go out, be good, be kind to one another, do good things, don't let your dreams be memes unless that's what you're into, and most importantly, stay classy. Catch me on Twitch, stream like 3 times a week, especially on Tuesdays. Often see me on like a Thursday and then one weekend day. We'll see you there. Don't forget to subscribe and follow, and enjoy the rest of the video.
gotta go after her. See, what is
4,
left?